This is the Mokin 140-watt USB wall charger, a 4-port multi-device fast charger with a display on it. Could this be the only adapter I need on a trip? Let's find out. In the past, I've done a number of reviews on a number of USB wall chargers, from cheap $10 chargers to higher end ones that pretty much can charge any USB device that I have. My name is Patrick, and this is Everyday Tech for Everyday People. Today, we're looking at this 140-watt charger from Mokin. Now, full disclosure, Mokin did reach out to me, asked me if I'd take a look at this product. Although they did provide this charger to me for free, they're not seeing this video before it goes up. All my opinions are my own. Now, getting right into what this charger has to offer, this charger has 4 ports total, 3 USB-C ports, and 1 USB-A port. You can output a total of 140 watts. Now, that's a total of 140 watts and not each individual port. Now, this is a GaN charger, which makes it very compact. Now, if you don't know, GaN stands for gallium nitride, and GaN chargers, compared to typical traditional chargers, are more made of a material that's more efficient, allowing them to be smaller, faster, and generate less heat. Now, typical chargers are made of silicone, which limits their charging speed and their efficiency compared to GaN chargers. Now, power prongs on this thing do fold up, making this a pretty compact design, especially for the amount of watts that it can output. But the most outstanding feature, of course, of this adapter is the display. So what kind of information can we see from this display? Well, by default, when we plug it in, and depending on how many things you have plugged into this that's charging, it'll show you the total amount of watts that are being output by this device. But there is also a capacitive button here. So when we press this capacitive button, it does break out that watts into the 4 different ports, regardless if there's anything plugged into them. Then if we press it again, what we see is a kind of a general temperature reading. And as we can see from this display, there is a temperature protect feature. Now, I don't know the exact temperature of of when that kicks in, but it's nice to know that it's there. Then there's a very clever thing they did with the screen. So let's say you plug this in, depending on your preference, whether it's upside down or right side up. But let's say the screen readout is upside down to you. All you have to do is press and hold down on the capacitor button. And after a couple seconds, it'll rotate the screen readout 180 degrees. I thought this was a very thoughtful and clever functional design. So let's talk about output power. Now, this thing can output a total of 140 watts. Now, I personally don't have a device that needs 140 watts of power. Only thing that comes to mind right now is maybe a 16-inch MacBook Pro, and I'm sure there are other Windows gaming laptops that require that much power. But this is not all about charging one device. It's about being able to charge up to 4 devices at their maximum speed. So let's go through the power diagram that's provided on the Mokin website. Now, if you only have one device charging, the first 2 slots can output up to 140 watts. The third USB-C slot can output 30 watts, and the USB-A port can output 22.5 watts. But what if you have 2 devices connected? If they're both connected to the first USB-C slots, then you'll have a total of 65 watts of output power for each slot. But if only one of the first 2 slots are being used with another slot, then the first 2 can output 100 watts as long as they're plugged in by itself. Then we can see the different combinations if you have up to 3 devices connected. But if you're using all 4 ports, then you'll have a distribution of 65 watts, 30 watts, 20 watts, and 20 watts. Now, to me, this is more than enough power to charge up all my devices, especially when I'm traveling. So how does this compare to other chargers that I own? And especially my Voltme 140-watt charger, which has been my go-to charger up to this point. As far as size is concerned, the Mokin is a little bit bulkier. It's about the same height, but not as long. But there are 2 obvious advantages that the Mokin has over the Voltme. First one, of course, is the additional USB-C port, giving it a total of 4 ports total versus the 3 on the Voltme. Then the other thing, of course, is the readout screen. The Voltme only has a little LED light indicating that it's receiving power from an outlet. Both weigh about the same though. Overall, what do I think of the Mokin 140-watt GaN charger with smart display? I think this is awesome, and I think this is now my go-to charger, and it's going to be with me in my everyday carry. And especially with my upcoming trips, this is the only charger that I'm going to need to bring with me. Now, as far as Mokin as a company is concerned, this is the second product that I've reviewed from them. The first one was a 10,000 milliamp power bank. And in fact, I'm bringing these two products with me in my upcoming trip to Asia. Thanks again to Mokin for sending this out to me. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Consider hitting that subscribe button. Until the next one, see ya.